Yeah. Yeah. Man, that's hilarious, dude. Hey, this is Johnny Bean, live 5:13 p.m. Pacific Time, 8:13 Eastern Time, May 10th, 2017. Got some cool people here. Dave Nesdall. How are you doing?
Hey, what's up?
Hey. Hey, who do we have tonight?
Oh, we got stuff and people. We got Keith and Andy from the Guitar Guru Network.
Awesome. Hey
What's
guys.
up, guys?
Hey guys, how are you? It's good to see you.
Yeah.
Got one
Awesome.
guru here in Atlanta and one back
Good to
in
be here.
Maryland.
Very nice.
Cool. So you guys are all East Coast guys.
Yeah, East Coast always wins, man.
Uh-oh.
You know
It's-
that? We're
it's-
always going to be ahead of you.
It's 3 against me.
And Andy and I are both from the DC area. He's still close by. We've got at least I've got the bullets on the tube here in the background.
At least they're not flying.
This is true. This is true. Thanks for having us on. Appreciate it.
No problem, man. I mean, this has kind of been in the works for quite a while, I think.
Oh, yeah. It's been at least a year, actually. You know, we were trying to do this for a long time, and then, stuff got in the way.
Well, it's an honor. Thank you.
Yeah, it's an honor to have you.
With all the careful and precise planning and technological advances that we've come to expect from the internet over the years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
there you go. There
Yeah,
go.
you guys watching this, you have no idea what we went through today to get this to happen.
It's very
This is
funny.
It's a nice production you have here.
You have no idea. Well, thank you, man.
It's good
Thank you.
stuff. Good stuff.
Hey, yes.
Any walk away from
See, we're still trying. What was that?
any landing you can walk away from. Most of the technical issues came from my side on my computer, but I think we got the plugins all unplugged where we needed to do, and our wires uncrossed, and I'm good, ready to roll.
Awesome.
Now, I want to know how many
Really
other guests
sweet.
bring their own Harley on the show.
That's just insane. I think we won the game. That's just it. You're done. We're done.
That's how we roll here at the Guitar Guru Network.
Yeah, you guys missed it. He rolled right into frame.
That's
He
did.
was, he was
He
revving
actually did.
amazing.
That's my man.
it. Awesome.
I love it.
Yes. So, Dave, who's in the chat room tonight? Who do we have?
Well, look, how many cool pictures have we seen of Eddie on badass rides?
There you
Striped
go.
hot rods, rat
You're right.
rods. Absolutely.
At least one.
I think Ed would approve. Probably paint a couple stripes on it, but
Well, I don't think everything in the world needs stripes.
does Ed ride bikes? I know he's into hot rods and
Look who's talking.
No, he's got a ridiculous motorcycle collection.
Does he really?
Yeah, Google Eddie Van Halen and motorcycle. You see one of the biggest Mad Max Thunderdome looking street tough. Looks like he can ride up Kilimanjaro, man. He's got some rides.
That's insane. That's cool.
Ah.
as he
And
should.
it's not all striped.
Wow. Yeah, I've seen some striped ones, or at least one, I think.
Yeah,
But
well,
yeah.
you gotta have one.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let me
Good to be
hit
Ed.
let me hit up the people in the chat real quick and say hi. So we have Richard Friend, Bill Camporis, John Constantine, Charlie S., Desiree Dornan, Bruce, Richard Smith. Who else do we have in here? We have
Harry
Michael
Evans?
Bishop. Michael Bishop. We have. I'm just going down the pike here. J.J. Collins,
Mhm. And these are just people that actually just say hi to us.
Richard Smith, the Vigilant, Black Belt, Yellow Belly, Tone Talk in the house, Mr. Mark Uzansky,
Hey, Mark.
Hey, Mark.
Timothy Pierce, Adam Scheinberg,
Jimmy Carr.
Cinero. Who else do we have?
Everybody.
We have Brian
Oh, good.
McKinney.
I see when I cough. Just to me when I cough. So that'll be fun throughout the night. That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, it's going to happen. Believe me. We have Brian McKinney. We have Bill Camporis. I think I said you already. Joe Wentz is in the house.
Faraz is here.
Cat Dumpling is here.
Cat-
Harry Evans is here. Frank C is here.
Everybody.
Chris is here. Jimmy Carr is here. Faraz Kershide.
Yeah.
Please
it's for
forgive
us.
me. Brian Davies is here.
Hey, Brian, all the way from the UK.
Yes, all the way from. We have 37 people watching at the moment. We have 13 thumbs ups. And how's everyone doing
Awesome.
on this beautiful Wolfgang Wednesday?
Wolfgang Wednesday.
Do you guys, Keith? Do you like Wolfgangs?
Do I like Wolfgangs? I do. You know, interestingly enough, people have heard me say this before. I was playing EVH Wolfgangs long before we became a dealer, which was just at this past NAMM. Had something in the works for a long time, and just took a while to get it all together. But anyhow, I was having a conversation with a client a couple days ago about, in my previous life, going up to regular business trips to Manhattan, and my first stop was always 48th Street. I'd hit Manny's and Rudy's and Ash and all those places. And I remember, what was it, maybe 89, when Carnal Knowledge came out and the Ernie Ball guitar.
90, 91.
91. Okay. I remember going into Ash and just seeing a wall full of them, every color. And I was trying to remember what the price was, but if I could go back in time, how much were they, Dave?
$17.99, I think.
Okay, I guess $16.99. I was close. To this day, still haven't owned one. I had one of the tributes that came out a couple years ago with the brown back and all that. But yes, love Wolfgangs. However, the only ones I've ever owned are the EVH ones, and I'm just absolutely infatuated with them in every incarnation, including a brand new striped special that a good friend of mine recently gave a proper setup and a tone block to, and a little TLC.
Yeah, I think you're gonna love it. I can't wait for you to get it, because I had lowered the action a little bit. I straightened the neck. It's the way I would play the guitar, and
Sure.
The way Ed, I believe, would play the guitar as well. As you know, I played a couple of his personal guitars throughout the years, and it's the way I remember his guitar feeling. So
Sure.
that's the way I set my guitars up.
Thank you again. I can't wait. Very much looking forward to it. And, you know, having said that, I was always not a snob, but I just was so absolutely thrilled with the USA Wolfgangs that when the specials came out, I just didn't pay that much mind to them. And it wasn't until I became a dealer that I really sat down and started to bang away on some. And, you know, I've said it a number of times to friends and players, if a guitar like that existed, you know, back in the day for under $1,500, holy moly. I mean, these things are incredible. Absolutely. The EVH Wolfgang specials are dynamite, as you guys know. So if anyone hasn't had a chance to go out and play one, I'd certainly recommend it. It's a very enlightening experience for me.
I agree.
That's what I play. That's a special right there.
Yeah, that's a beautiful one too. Love the natural.
Thank you.
What year is that one, Johnny?
Well,
what? Huh? Go ahead.
Oh, I'd add this. I mean, since coming on as an authorized dealer, I mean, we've moved a lot of them, and that's not bragging. That's just saying we can't hold on to them.
Yeah.
They come in and they go out as fast as they come in. We post them. We take some nice pictures, but they're beautifully packaged. The cases are all nice. They're pristine, and it's a fast-moving guitar for us at the Guru Network, Guitar Guru Network. It's a winner.
Love the flight cases. The TSA EVH flight cases are killer.
Yeah. I wish they came with the specials as well, because I think, you know, if you're spending $1,000, I think that even if you spent $1,100, it should come in a case, or it should ship with a case. A lot of places, you know, you buy the guitar for $1,000 and it's just in a box. You know, I really think
that's exactly it. And I'll tell you something. We're such fans of your show that I'm gonna go on air right now on a live broadcast and say that anyone who buys an EVH special from us, you mention Johnny and Dave's show, you'll get a free hard case with your guitar.
Holy cow! Where's my credit card?
Something I feel very strongly about delivering
That's
these
awesome.
guitars with proper cases, and I've packaged them together and done.
Colin, those
Wait, why is he talking into
Is
the
that
monkey's backside?
I was gonna say, is that the shoe phone?
There you go. There you go. Have you guys had an opportunity to play other than at NAMM, have you guys really had much time to play the Ed signature guitar?
I haven't yet. I mean, this is my attempt at making it. This is not the official one.
It looks pretty darn close, I'll tell you.
Well, yeah, I mean, because it's exactly the way they are. But
awesome. You have the Alnico 3 in the neck?
No, yeah, I still have an Alnico 3. I have to put a 2 in.
Okay.
So, but I can't wait to try one. I really want to get a Stealth. I miss my old Stealth, but now that you can get a signature Stealth, I want one of those.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Every one that we've had, and it's only been about 6 of them, which is a fair number in the few weeks that they've been out. I mean, they've lasted a day or so. They just come in, and more often than not, we've got waiting lists for them. But they've been a big hit. And the guys who, we've got some customers. I have a client recently who's a big-time single-cut fixed bridge player. And just because he was looking for something different, I said, try one of these. They're amazing guitars. I know he's an Ed fan, so he took the white one. And he's been gigging with it and just raving about it.
Yeah, they're great to gig with. I've played, I've done a lot of gigs on this guitar already. And
have you?
It's so much fun to play. It's so much fun.
And the white's no slouch either, man. The white is good looking.
Yeah, sure.
For anyone who missed out, which is all of us on the Tour Relic last year, to be able to get something like the one that's being offered now for what I think it's not inexpensive, but it's certainly not unreasonable. It's a custom shop guitar, but they play beautifully, are made beautifully, and we've done real well with them.
You can relic it yourself.
Keith, I was
play
going to looked at NAMM last year in the case was just, it was beautiful top to bottom. They didn't miss a trick. Of course, they're not going to with an Ed tour model, but every little, it was fantastic in that case.
Yeah.
It's great to be able to get this version now.
Absolutely. Guys, what did they make? 12 of those of the
20.
Tour Relic?
20. Yeah.
Okay. I know there's a number with the 2 in it.
We have a question. We already have a question in the chat box. Our buddy Sinner, Stefan, he asks, do you guys have a gold EVH in stock? A gold special?
Gold special, no. But there is a possibility that we could acquire one within a very short period of time. We've got a big shipment probably heading out of, I don't know if it's Corona or Phoenix next day or so. We've got a lot of stuff coming out. So someone's interested, even if we don't have it in stock, I've had stuff from them overnighted. And
we can get it.
Cool. Okay. Sounds good. Yeah. Well, Stefan, there you go. If they don't have it in stock, which they don't at the moment, they will get it for you.
Yeah, so, we aim to please. Tell us what you're looking for, and we'll make it happen. If it's there to be had, we'll get it.
Awesome.
Well, and here's find us just so people know. We're the Guitar Guru Network. We've got a Reverb store. We've got an eBay store, or you can do business directly with Keith or I. Find Keith Beres, B-E-R-E-S, his last name, or Andy Oakster, O-C-H-S-T-E-R on Facebook. We'll get you in the private group that is the Guitar Guru Network, and we can start talking some gear and start getting some stuff in your hands.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that, you won't be able to find it if someone doesn't invite you, but everyone's welcome to the private group in Facebook. We've got, I think we're pushing 6,000 people now, and it's just, an incredible group of players, producers, touring professionals, recreational players, songwriters, you name it, and everyone's welcome. Tons of gearheads. People share their music. There's a few lurkers in there who are some wildly famous players that go under assumed names, and it's fun. It's a good hang, and everyone's welcome. So if anyone who's watching the broadcast tonight would like to be a part of it, just send a personal note to any one of the 4 of us, and we all have the ability to add friends. So feel free.
I got a couple of great questions here for you guys as well. Our friend Bruce says, Dave, does the Guitar Guru Network do any kind of financing?
Yes, absolutely. We do it through our Reverb store. We use a firm, which is a great product that they added probably about a year or so ago, and I believe you have 30, 60, pardon me, let's say it's 3, 6, and 12-month terms.
Mm-hmm.
So absolutely. And again, if anyone has any questions,
just for 12 months, that's amazing.
yeah,
that's great.
You know, message either one of us, Andy or myself, and we'll make it happen. We'll walk you through it and do whatever we need to help you guys out. Be our pleasure.
That's awesome. Brian Davies also. Brian asked. Hang on one second. I apologize. I have to go back a little bit. Brian Davies says, Dave Nesdell, I thought the Relic was cream. How would you turn your white guitar into a Relic? Well, it wasn't cream. They were actually ivory, but they were made to be dirty. They look dirty. So, I mean, they dirty them up a little bit. So you could do the same thing if you were going to Relic your white guitar, like this one, like I just did with the headstock.
Can we see it?
Well, no, I just hit it.
Not the Steinberger.
Literally, as we're
yes,
speaking, is that what you mean?
Guitar. Basically, if you're going to Relic your guitar, it's going to get dirty looking anyway because of all the weather checking and stuff. So that's how it would look on the creamish side, but really it's not cream. It was ivory. It's the same color as this. What else do we have here? What else was?
We got Mr. BH. Is that Bruce?
Yeah, it's Bruce.
Bruce, yeah. All their information will be down in the description once the live part is done. So don't worry, there'll be links.
And you know, if anyone's interested, it's pretty easy to remember. You can email either Andy or myself at scratchchord@gmail.com, and whether you spell it CHORD or CORD, you're going to get one of us. Scratchchord, one word, @gmail.com.
So one of you has one and the other one has the other?
You got it.
That's great.
Which has which? Do you remember?
I'm CHORD.
Oh, I wasn't.
You guys you guys flipped a coin.
Yeah.
Well, Keith, look, man. Keith's guru number 1 and I'm guru number 2. He gave me the email that I'm very happy with and answered very quickly. I keep a very tidy inbox. And here's something that I have heard, and this is kind of comes from Keith's and my own experience, and I'm sure most people's experience out there. The world of customer service is not, I think, across the world of who you're talking to or automated. You know, and you call Keith or me, you get Keith or me. And if I don't know the answer, I'm getting you to Keith. If Keith doesn't know the answer, which is rare, and I'm not saying that just because he's here, but it's rare that he will get you to me. And we like that personal hand on hand that does us no good to get the wrong gear into the wrong player's hands. So we're not interested in just pushing stuff out the door, endless stream of stuff. We want to get the right stuff to the right people and dial you in. And we all learn something in the process. And that's why it's so cool to have such a big variety of people in the network, because everyone is better for it.
I agree with you. It's all about customer service.
It is just the two of us, and it's a good thing for us and good thing for the consumers too. You're never going to get anyone other than one of us who are both very much invested in this company and will have everyone's best interests in mind. So it's really important to us that everyone's satisfied. We develop relationships. We're not just selling gear.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. That's awesome. So Mark Huzansky, Tone Talks, asks, Keith, what's your favorite amp right now?
That's really interesting, and it's funny that Mark's asking that. Well, there are two, and I actually, for some reason, this came into my mind today as I was thinking about the show tonight. I was never a combo player, but a couple months back, maybe a few months back now, after reading some reviews and watching some demos, I'd really never even played the amp, treated myself to a 65 whiskey, the 50-watt combo. and it is just mind-numbing. Dan Bull's been a friend for a while. His business partner at 65 Amps, Peter Stroud's here in Atlanta.
Peter Stroud, one of my favorite guitar players.
Amazing with Sheryl Crow now, and has an incredible resume. But what people don't seem to realize, and because this amp's really flown under the radar, this was a collaboration with Dave Friedman, and it's got Friedman written all over it. The name Whiskey is obviously a nod to the Sunset Strip in the 80s. And for the guys who are watching, guys and gals, if you're an Ed fan and you like the tone of the first 2 albums, you're going to love this amp. You can obviously get a header combo, and I don't mean to get into sales mode here, but it's a fun one. We did some demos the other day, and no pedals, no boost, nothing, right into the amp. And we're happy to share those with anyone if you want to get an idea of what it's all about. But Friedman effects loop, I lovingly call it a mini brown eye, or a 50-watt brown eye, because to me that's what it sounds like.
Wow.
And then as far as the full-size heads, bigger amps, and I am of the school, there's no replacement for displacement. I have a particular diesel with KT88s. It's a Lil Falker model.
Watch your language.
Noted. It's been discontinued, but there are other incarnations of it available from Diesel, but it's just incredibly simple, very basic layout.
That's Greg Fokker to you.
Greg Fokker,
yes.
Great sounding amp. So those are the two that more often than not I'm plugged into, just because of the ease of use and simplicity. But I've got all the 5150s from the PV, and it was cool. James Brown was over here the other day, kind of giving it the once over. The original designer back with PV. I've got the 6L6 Stealth, but I would say my main ones are the Diesel and the Whiskey.
Nice.
And I just got to honestly, this thing's such an under the radar piece of gear. Go out, everybody, and find and play a 65 Whiskey. You'll thank me, I promise.
You've got. I'm intrigued.
Some big time, Sunset Strip mojo. Lynch, Warren, Ed. They crammed all those guys into this box, and they did it right.
I'm a huge Warren fan. Warren DeMartini.
Same. I've referred to it as my out of the cellar amp. It's got that thing happening. Wow. And interestingly enough, it's a 6L6 amp.
No kidding.
No. So with that, you have a pretty special, very special clean channel. But you really wouldn't know it. It has the characteristics to my ears of an EL34 amp on the dirty channel, and it sounds like those old Marshalls that were used in out of the cellar, the feel good Marshall that Bob Rock owned, or I guess Mick Mars owned. It's got that thing happening.
Wow.
Hey, cool. I want to answer Black Belt Yellow Belly's question. I can't speak for Keith because we're two different people in two different cities. But I had a bacon double cheeseburger at Five Guys with ketchup, mayonnaise, pickles, onions, lettuce, and mustard, a small fries, and a large Coke Zero.
What was the question, Andy? Okay.
What did you have for lunch today? Did you have the Andy? Did you have the peanuts while you were waiting?
No. You know what's weird? I don't have the peanut. And ask Keith, man. Every other day when he's talking to me, if I'm having lunch, I'm like at Five Guys, and I don't get any free stuff. I don't get anything from these guys. I should. I don't even have a punch card. There's nothing. But I skip away from the peanuts because I find they're not always fresh.
That's surprising because everything else there is spectacular. Does everyone have Five Guys throughout the country? I
haven't been to a Five Guys in a while. But, they're great, and I do love the peanuts there.
It was founded by a college classmate of mine in Washington, D.C.
No kidding.
And it's amazing, to see what's happened with this franchise. This is a gentleman named Russell Rosenbaum, who is a very clever young man, and this was just kind of one of many side projects of his, but who knew?
Well, apparently he did.
Yeah, yeah, they have them in DC. I mean, you go to Nationals Park, you go to the ball game there, and they have it set up, and you know it's cool. Now I'm in Atlanta, they're all over here, and that's good stuff.
Well, I heard the head of the FBI is looking for a new gig, so
he may be flipping burgers. You may see JC there over at Five Guys.
You know what? I'm so not a political dude at all, but I just had to throw that in.
Andy and I haven't had the same luxury. You grow up and live in Washington, D.C. for 4 decades or so, and that's just part of the daily conversation, whether you like it or not. But yeah, he may be over there. He may be in charge of the peanuts now.
I'm more of an NCIS guy. I don't really care about the FBI.
Okay.
Well, that's why Keith and I do music, because we grew up immersed in politics.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
Johnny and myself, actually I can't speak for Johnny because I don't really know, but I don't really care.
Johnny, do they serve red meat out where you live in that part of the country?
Mm-hmm.
They do. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I have family in Portland, Oregon. If you make mention of, red meat hamburgers, sometimes they give you a little funny look, and I have a great appreciation for people trying to stay healthy. But here in Atlanta, we like to do a little greasy.
Yeah. Tone Talks is In-N-Out Burger.
In-N-Out Burger's great. In-N-Out Burger's great. I don't know if Mark's been to Five Guys, but I got to tell you, I think it's even better than In-N-Out. I really do.
I've never been to In-N-Out, but I love Five Guys. I do love me some Five Guys.
If you're going to be at Winter NAMM, we'll take you to the In-N-Out in Anaheim. It's a long line, but it's worth it.
Well, let's see if I can get myself out there.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I mean, we've got a bunch of In-N-Outs and Five Guys all over where I live. But I do know people that when they land at LAX, first place they hit up is In-N-Out.
That one down the street. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now that we've plugged In-N-Out Burger and Five Guys,
who's hungry? There's the
I am.
Johnny I think I'm probably the only guy who's eaten so far.
Look at Andy.
Yogurt today.
There you go, Andy.
I had the same part of a pizza for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So I don't know what that does for my fast food cred. True story.
Cool. Yeah, those chips are great, by the way. Those are the pickle chips, right?
Yeah, that's what Dave and I were talking, and Johnny, when we were setting up the initial feed, and Johnny's giving Dave grief, and he's hitting the chips. I said, "Hey man, I got some chips," and us from Maryland, they do these fried dill pickle chips.
I love fried pickles too. Now my mouth is watering. You guys got to stop.
Wait till you try crab chips. Chips in Old Bay if you haven't already.
Oh, yeah, I got a pack of those in the pantry.
Man.
Andy's living well.
Andy, Mark asks, what happened to the hot deviled eggs you ate?
Oh, okay, your feed's breaking up a little bit. Ask Andy what happened to those hot deviled eggs. Okay, and then we should talk about some music gear. Now,
yeah, probably.
I went to the local store, and it's a long story, but I buy eggs already hard boiled. They last longer. I chop them up in salads. I make egg salad. I throw them on chicken sandwiches, everything. And I wasn't paying attention, and I grabbed some buffalo chicken eggs. And when I opened them up to have them, the stench of buffalo chicken just was all over the house. And there is no orange on planet Earth like this orange, what these eggs were. Now, I bought them, so I was like, well, I'm going to eat them. I was expecting them to be horrible, and they ended up to be. I was very disappointed. I finished all 10 of them, and if I got them again by mistake, I wouldn't throw them out, but I wouldn't intentionally buy them again. So there's my quick review of that.
Okay, Andy, what was your diet like as a touring musician? What was the? Give us a little idea of what that life's all about. As far as one's diet. We don't need to talk about the other stuff on the air.
Yeah, no. I'll keep it clean. I was one of the guys with money in the band. Actually, our band was
You don't hear that often.
We all bartended really good restaurants, so we knew good food. I was working at a sushi, bartending on a rooftop, and just making money hand over fist, almost too much money for a 20-year-old. Not that I was complaining. So when we went out on the road, I could get fancy like Subway, opposed to the 6-inch. So we really split. I bought enough Harley Davidson T-shirts while on the road. I've got a significant collection upstairs. Finally, it was one of the guitar player or Stafford, the bass player, who could be watching now, said, "If you stop buying all those damn T-shirts, you could have a motorcycle." Well, now I got both. Ha ha! I win. We had a lot of Subway and a lot of pizza. There was a favorite pizza place called Lucy's. Lucy's Pizza in New York, in the Village where we used to go. Giant slices right next door, or no, there was a pizza place next to a place called Lucy's, and Lucy was this older lady, and she'd keep the bar open late for us. That was great. We used to play a place called Under Acme. Actually, here's how we can bring it back to music. This is a great story.
I'll bet Dave knows the East Village a little bit.
Or plug his ears because he's heard this 1,000 times. But
It's all good.
We played a place called the Under Acme, and my band, Who Is God, was recording with the Rollins Band at that time. Chris Haskett of the Rollins Band, also in the Guitar Guru Network, was a friend from the DC area, and he produced us. So he brought Henry out for a show one night at the Under Acme, tiny little club. You loaded the gear down, I mean, literally like a 45-degree angle steps, and getting it down there sober at the beginning of the night was great. Pushing it back up half in the bag at the end of the night was quite another story. So we always would tell friends in DC, like, "Hey, come on to New York with us, man. Hey, hang out. This is going to be fun." And at the end of the night, we'd have them help us haul our gear up the steps. And then,
Oh yeah.
on most people, it got really old really quickly. So anyway, so Chris Haskett walks in, Henry Rollins walks in. I start talking to Henry. He's very down to earth business. Just, what's your set time? What's your set list? How many songs? The new stuff's really good. Haskett's really excited. This, that, he's Henry Rollins. Over his shoulder, he goes, yeah, we brought our friend with us. He's kind of antsy back there. I go, "Well, no, Henry, go talk to whoever you want to talk to, man. Don't keep me." He goes, no, I want to hear about the set. It's just David Lee Roth's over there with the rest of your band. And I'm not even kidding. I said, this was like 93, 94, 95. 94. And I said to Henry Rollins, I said, "You mean Van Halen? David Lee Roth?" And Henry looked at me and didn't say anything. He just goes, and I'm like, "Right, because there's so many David Roth." But and Henry or Dave's in this baseball cap and it's kind of pulled down and when he met our lead singer Dave, Chris goes, "Hey Dave, I want you to meet our friend Dave." And Dave goes, "Hey, that's an easy name to remember. Dave, I'm Dave." And he shakes hands, and David Lee Roth looks up with his hat on and goes like this. And Dave, our singer, goes, "Holy Lee Roth." And everyone's like, "What the heck, man? We're in this tiny, had to step outside to change your mind, little club called the Under Acme." And Dave could not have been cooler. I looked out as we were playing, and he's in the back of the club going like this. And I'm like, what more do you want? I just rocked the
probably probably what happened was his ambulance was right in the front of the place. Yeah.
Time.
Yeah, that's cool.
Anyway.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Great story.
We needed a lot of the Acme was actually a grill. When you played the Under Acme grill, you were underneath the restaurant. Yeah. So we would go up, and then again, I mean, I always left town with a pocket full of money from bartending, so I didn't do too bad.
How's that for a segue into some Van Halen jive?
That's awesome. Very cool. Very cool. Great way to meet Roth.
Cool. Yeah. So you want to talk about Van Halen?
Sure.
Okay. All right. Roth or Hagar?
Roth, all the way. All the way.
Well, you don't have to answer that.
Great appreciation for both. Love them both, but If you're asking, I'm telling you.
Mhm.
Those first 5 albums were just a murderer's row. And I love everything
it was
that
the
came after that.
That was the 1927 Yankees, all right.
That was it. That was it.
Mhm.
I as a kid, I had an opportunity in I was in the 6th grade, and that spring I was given a proposal by my sister to either see Rush or Van Halen live. And mind you, comparing it to the State of the Union as far as music, the music scene we're in now, both Moving Pictures and Fair Warning had just been released.
Mm-hmm. 2 amazing records.
Back in Black preceded them both by a short bit. Anyhow, so of course I picked. Always been a big Ed Guy and Van Halen fan. Got to see them on the Fair Warning tour, and that was just absolutely incredible.
That's amazing.
That was a treat. Yeah.
Very cool. So in the chat, hang on one second. It's going so fast.
Everybody's saying Roth.
Yeah.
Are they?
No, someone.
I'll tell you what, though.
Bozy-
I've been listening to Carnal Knowledge lately. I've been digging into that. That is one heck of a record.
Yes, it is. It's amazing. Bozique said Hagar, Roth can no longer sing, but first of all, Roth never could sing, and Hagar, if you've heard him lately, neither can he.
Yeah, I'm not talking about what they can do now, but
They're doing Pound Cake in the key of D now, but the whole guitar is tuned a whole step low. It's not, tuned to regular concert pitch, and then they're playing it, in D. Your E chord is now D, and they're playing it. It's crazy. He just,
the great news is at the end of the day,
he's 70 years old. I mean,
yeah, and the great thing is, I mean, you're comparing Mozart against Bach. I mean, there's just no wrong answer. If I had to choose, again, I'll tell you who I'll choose, but 5150 and Carnal Knowledge. I mean, they're just incredible records. There's some great stuff that came out of both those configurations of the band. And having said that, at the same time, right after 5150 came out, Eat 'Em and Smile was no joke. I got to see that tour.
The record was amazing. That record was amazing.
Incredible.
Yeah.
What do we know about the reincarnation of that band? I know they tried it obviously last year, and that didn't go over too well. And it's been my understanding that in some way, shape, or form, the original band members want that to happen.
Yeah, I think they still want that to happen, but I think Vi is still on the road.
Okay.
And I'm not sure, but I think Mr. Big is also on the road, so Sheehan is with them.
Are they? Okay.
Yeah, I think it'll happen when it happens. I think that everyone has to get their act together.
Okay.
But
That'll be fun.
That was a great record. Both those records, Stat and Skyscraper, were both fantastic.
Incredible. Incredible guitar playing.
And Keith knows this club. Dave, you may as well. The 930 Club at its current location on V Street. It's a huge club. Gets written up all the time. One of the top clubs in the country. And I saw David Lee Roth there solo in the early 2000s. I would say 2004 or 5. He did a solo club tour. Someone can obviously correct me if I'm wrong. Or
probably with John 5.
They opened up with Hot for Teacher, and I tell you, I should know who was playing. It was kind of like a last minute thing. Someone called me and said, "Hey man, I got a ticket to see David Lee Roth at 930 Club." I'm like, "I'm there." So I showed up. I didn't do a lot of research on it. Showed up a good time, and I mean, then he slouches clearly.
No,
but
no, he's not.
Drum, bass, guitar, note for note. I mean, these are guys that must have taken every single Van Halen album and locked themselves in their own rooms since the age of 5 and just played Eruption and Panama and Hot for Teacher and Little Guitar and everything. They played Ice Cream Man. I mean, he played everything. And he was sharp and in shape and jumping around and bringing his sword out and jumping up. Chicks were going nuts, man. And that's a small club to see someone like David Lee Roth.
For an act like Roth, yeah. I'll bet that was John 5 right after he left Manson or pre-Zombie. Obviously, he's done a lot of work with Roth, and I'm pretty sure he did some touring with him. which I would have loved to have seen.
That was
Yeah.
incredible.
Mm-hmm.
The set list alone.
Yeah, a lot of great material.
Yeah. Tone Talk says it might have been Brian Young on guitar.
Maybe.
May have been.
Oh, well,
I actually think it might have been because I was working at a guitar shop in Berkeley around that time, 94, 95. And I think Brian Young, I think they were in town. I think he came in. I think it was
Well,
around that time.
I met him in '94, but I saw this show in probably 2005. This was in the early 2000s that I saw the live show.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, 2000.
And Andy makes a good point, and that Roth has just always surrounded himself with brilliant musicians.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. When you're Roth, it's
Look
Pick
at
and
this guy.
choose.
a dog and pony show. It has to be.
This guy right here, man.
There you go.
Right
Jason.
here.
There you go.
My
There
man.
you go. Absolutely.
Yep.
Can't even imagine how mind-numbing it would have been to see him perform with Jason Becker. I know Jason didn't get to do a lot of live stuff, or he may not have done any. I don't recall.
He didn't do any.
Okay. Yeah.
No, by the time they went on tour, he couldn't go.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you were just saying that you just watched the documentary.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've recently revisited what was the album? Little Ain't Enough.
Yeah, Little Ain't Enough. Great record.
Jason just absolutely blazing guitar work on there. I was somewhat familiar with his work in Cacophony, but didn't know that much about. Wasn't that familiar with his playing. I had always been into more blues-based players than neoclassical players, but Jason Becker is one in a billion.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and the movie, for anyone who hasn't seen it, the documentary, is it Not Dead Yet, Johnny?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a tearjerker, but it's a must see.
Yeah, I saw it 5 times in the theater with Jason and his family.
Incredible.
Actually, so I got to see it on the big screen.
And with him, I can't even fathom that. That's
What's
it got to be right up there with great life experiences.
Okay, there we go. We got it. Not dead yet. Someone's asking.
Hey, didn't Jason just have some surgery done?
Yeah. He just had his was it his
Gallbladder?
gallbladder was just removed. Yeah. Like a week ago.
Yeah.
Last week or something.
I've had my gallbladder out.
Mm-hmm.
You have it there in the room. Is it up next to the chimp?
God.
Anywhere on the shelf? Bonus points. You get more in the free case if you.
Great.
Anyone has a gallbladder in a jar. Not only do you get a free case, but
Listen, if I can put my gallbladder in a jar, I want a Steve Stevens, Nags.
there you go. There you go. I'll tell you what. If God forbid that ever happens, we'll talk, Dave.
Give 10 minutes, I can probably find my wisdom teeth.
My goodness.
Yeah. Yes.
What about you guys? Roth, Hagar, Sharon?
It's really all about Eddie, Alex, and whoever plays bass for me.
Well, it's really interesting that you say that. Andy's a fantastic drummer, and I had been kind of picking his brain in the past 12, 18 months or so, and really kind of rediscovering the brilliance of Al. Just unbelievable drummer. And I think it started when we saw his kit at NAMM, not this past, but 2016.
Mm-hmm.
Last year.
Yeah, that's right. And my God, go back. And again, I listen, I got everything on vinyl now, and I've kind of been re-listening to some of the records that I'd let breathe for a while. And Alex is no joke, man. Just absolutely incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. He's today's John Bonham.
I think you're right.
Here's the thing: what he had is, and the first drummer I was probably raised on was Peter Criss. Just the age I am and what was going on with those guys. I'm still a huge Kiss fan. I mean, of course, but and Peter Criss. I mean, look, man, he was doing it. But you take Alex Van Halen a little bit later, and Alex Van Halen, not only does he have the ridiculous drum sets that catch everyone's attention, and the Cannon freaking quadruple bass drums and an entire set of rototoms and cymbals upon cymbals stacked on cymbals, but he's like a ridiculous technical Neil Peart, John Bonham type of real, shredder of a drummer. I mean, if we can say that. So
yes, you can.
He had, not only did he have the chop back up, he had the flair. The whole band did. I mean, they were wild, man.
Yeah, and Mike's no slouch either, by the way, as far as the rhythm section goes.
Michael Anthony, no, he's amazing. What a great bass player. I would kill to have him, in a band.
Fun story. First NAMM ever. It's probably about 2005. No idea what to expect. I wasn't in the music industry. I was going as a guest of some friends, and really just wanted to check out some gear. And I had some free time to get out to Southern California, and I was staying at the Hilton there, right next to the convention center. And literally, no sooner did I get out of the cab and go into the lobby where you check in, I get in line, and as I'm waiting there, I look to see, there's a lot of commotion around. I look behind me, and there's Mike. I knew it was going to be a good weekend.
Oh yeah.
And so he was behind me. To my right was Skunk Baxter in all of his glory.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I see him every time I'm there. But just randomly. I just walk past him, and I'm like, oh.
Does his beard get bigger every time you see him?
Hey, guess what? You know who we see every year? And I told Andy this when he came out the first time. Never fails is Andy. What's the comedian? What's the guy's name?
Sinbad.
Sinbad.
Oh.
There you go.
Ooh. I actually.
Sinbad's a player.
Yeah.
I'm flying to LA for a different project, and it's a weird world. We know that. So before the whole Bill Cosby thing, I had interviewed Bill Cosby for TV in an Atlanta casino. I mean, in an Atlantic City casino.
Mm-hmm.
He mentioned Sinbad as being one of his all-time favorites, something like that. So 3 years, 4 years, 5 years later, I'm on a plane going from BWI to Atlanta, out to LA, and we pick up Sinbad in Atlanta. We get off the plane, and I'm standing next to Sinbad ready to walk off. So I looked up, I said, hey man, I met your friend Bill Cosby, and he said you're one of the best. Figured you should know he speaks very highly of you. He's like, right on, man, appreciate it. Dr. Cosby, whatever. Then we end up both going to the bathroom together, so then I'm standing next to him, which is awkward. Then we're at baggage claim together, and that's all. Like, I'm not stalking this guy. I'm not even a Sinbad fan, or I mean, I'm not a fan. I can take the guy or leave him, whatever. But talking Sinbad with this story of knowing Bill Cosby and all this crap. But with the bag that he was waiting for to pick off, he was picking up a guitar case in LA where he lives. So he's a player.
Wow.
That's awesome. I think we could probably do a whole show just on NAMM stories.
I'm sure.
Oh,
I'm sure. Real quick.
NAMM is a show.
Real quick, while I have this in sight, Keith, this is for you. Black Belt Yellow Belly asks, how much is the John Petrucci Majestic signature guitar? Now, before you answer that question, why don't you contact him and talk about prices like that privately? Let's not put that over the air. Maybe you can talk prices on guitars, or however you want to do it. But I don't know that you want to put prices.
Email us anything you want. Scratchchord@gmail.com. You can't spell it wrong. You're going to get somebody, and we're happy to help you out with anything guitar related.
Mr. BHBRB Jr. says Sinbad was stalking me.
That's right.
A fair point.
I think that's Bruce.
Yeah, that's Bruce. And it's funny that you say that, because every time you say it, you have to say, I think it's Bruce.
Yeah.
Even though it's Bruce, you have to say, I think it's Bruce.
Well, that's part of the whole. That's what we do here,
I think that's Bruce.
Like Paul Rodden.
Rodden. It's
Yeah.
really Rodden.
And real quick, I've got a Sinbad story. Actually, I had a 5-year-old Prince impersonator introduced me to Sinbad.
Really?
Really?
How'd that come about?
I was given real quick, huh? Real quick.
No, please continue.
I've got a Facebook page. My Facebook page is, just guitarist Johnny Beane. I used to say on these videos that if you go and you like my page, I'll give you a free guitar pick. Right? I stopped doing that because I got way too many requests.
Post Malone must have been killing you.
It was crazy. Anyway, I get a message from this mom, and she's like, "Hey, I don't know you, blah blah blah. But anyway, my son, he's 5 years old. He really wants one of your guitar picks." So I mailed him the guitar pick. Turns out they live 45 minutes away from me. She sees my address, which was Walnut Creek at the time, and she's like, "Oh, can you come and meet my son? Give him a guitar lesson. He's 5 years old." And there's Howie. Hey, Howie.
Howie and
Yeah. And so anyway, so I meet the kid. He's dressed
By the
up,
way, will you?
and he's dressed up as Prince. He's 5 years old. He's an impersonator. He sings, dances, all
As
that
a
stuff.
Prince or Prince the artist?
Prince the artist.
Okay,
Prince the
gotcha.
artist.
Gotcha.
Does he actually play guitar?
He does now. Yeah. I was teaching him lessons. Well, I teach him lessons. Yeah. I think he's probably 8 or 9 now. It's been a few years. But anyway, I meet the kid. He starts telling me everything about Eddie Van Halen, and he's 5. He's like, Eddie plays, he used to play Kramer 5150. He plays the EVH Wolfgang. He knew everything about me. This 5-year-old kid. He's like, "You're Johnny Beane, you blah, blah, blah." It was insanity. So anyway, I'm teaching the kid, guitar lessons, and Sinbad comes to town. And the kid and Sinbad and the kid's mom, they're good friends, with Sinbad. Actually, they're good friends with George Lopez as well. And so anyway, they invite me to Sinbad's show. And so I go, and the kid, he's 5 years old. He's on stage. He gets up on stage with Sinbad at the end, and they actually sang Purple Rain together.
Wow,
This little kid and Sinbad
That's
playing
awesome.
guitar.
That's cool.
But
that's
anyway,
insane.
that's my story.
I think the only entire show is that Sinbad and George Lopez are friends.
Well, George the big Ed guy.
Yeah,
Big time.
George Lopez.
Big time.
yeah, they're
I'm surprised.
buds.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
tight with Ed.
George. He's actually friends with the mom of this kid that I teach lessons with.
That's
And
cool.
I wish I knew George. He was actually in town. Well, he's been in town a few times recently, but he actually he was in town recently, and his friends of mine hung out with him. And I wish I would have known. I'm a
Very
fan.
cool.
I'm a fan.
That's
Well,
fun.
you're a fan because he's friends with Eddie.
They actually played golf. Actually, half an hour away from where I live.
Mm-hmm.
They flew up here and played golf.
Ed and George?
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
Bravo.
Well, George, he posts all that stuff on Instagram, so it's not, it's everybody knows.
Yeah. I see some stuff. Yeah, on Instagram, is that what you said? It dropped out for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
So which
Instagram
guitar
story.
is that you got in your hand there, Keith? Is that the
This
cherry,
is,
the dark cherry?
Yeah. This
Take a look at
I
that.
got. This was a is a kind of an interesting story with this guitar. I'm a fixed bridge player, and it's a kind of a difficult thing to admit, being such a huge Ed fan. I just struggle a bit with Floyd's, and I'm heavy-handed. I like to rest my grew up playing guitars with like a Tone Pros, and like to rest my picking hand there. And I didn't even know after EVH was launched that there was a hardtail model. And in 2009, I went into a local music store back in Washington, D.C. area where I was living. And as I think I went to play an SG or a Les Paul or something. And as the guy was going to get a particular guitar for me that they had, stored away, hanging on the wall was one of the quilted, when the USA Wolfgangs came out, you had the black, the vintage white, and the or ivory, whatever it was, and you had the quilt. One of the quilts was there. I picked it up, and I could not believe the neck on this guitar. Never felt anything like it. So immediately just took off, totally dismissed, whatever I was there for, to see in the first place, and started researching the EVH hardtails. Had to order this one, but the funny thing was, my wife and I were dating at the time. Maybe we were engaged, and I got as a birthday, I think maybe it was an anniversary present, an iPad. It had just come out, and that was a big deal. But there was a wait. I wouldn't have taken delivery of it for some time. So anyhow, that iPad turned out to be this guitar. And again, I'm a short scale player, and usually a single cut short scale player. But this guitar I play as much as anything. It's been a great instrument. It's a 2012. It's just something I'll always have with me, and I've really enjoyed it. And the really cool thing was, I went back and forth about maple and/or ebony, because I had the opportunity to choose either. And even though Ed had just switched over to playing ebony boards, then I was getting an Ed guitar. I wanted maple, and so now I'm actually, as I think I was telling you, David, I'm on a mission to get the same exact guitar, hardtail, dark cherry, which they don't make anymore. I'm digging for one with an ebony board.
Mm-hmm. Very cool.
Yeah, so I've really enjoyed it. I don't know if everyone's familiar. I would assume a lot of the guys and gals watching have played the guitars and the Wolfgang pickups that come with the specials, and the USA models are so phenomenal. I've taken those, taken them, you can buy them separately, put them in Les Pauls, put them in different guitars, and that's a really fun thing to do. If someone's looking for a great pickup, they generally talk about all the aftermarket companies, Duncan's and this, that, and the other thing, which are all wonderful. Mm-hmm. But if someone's really experimenting with guitars, it doesn't matter if it's a bolt-on or an LP style guitar. No matter what it is, drop a set of Wolfgangs in there, and you'll never be disappointed.
That's right. Johnny just put the pickup up.
That's
there you go.
That's what I use.
Yeah.
I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got like 5 of them sitting here. Yeah.
I'm real curious to hear. I really haven't had time to play. We were talking earlier about how quickly we're moving the signature models. I want to hear that neck pickup. I don't know if there's anyone in chat, or you guys have had a lot of, had much time to play plugged in, and again, other than NAMM would have you with one of the new
one.
Yeah, but I'm real curious about that neck pickup.
Yeah, I played it at NAMM. I played the Stealth Edward Van Halen signature guitar at NAMM, and played it through the I think it was the new Lunchbox.
Okay, yeah, the LBX2. That's a little beast.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question to ask you guys. Do you guys buy used guitars from other people? Do you guys do that as well?
We don't. We do not. And not opposed to it, but it's just such a set this down real quick. Andy and I, as we mentioned earlier, I mean, this is a two-man operation, and we've had the great luxury of growing by leaps and bounds in the short time that the company has existed, and just keeping up with new merchandise and the vendors. And we're really in a golden age of gear right now. It doesn't matter if it's pedals, pickups, guitars, amps, what have you. There's such a demand for everything that we just haven't had an opportunity to even go down that road. So doors certainly open. We may in the future. And
well, the only reason I asked is our friend Joe Suma from Greenwich Music,
okay,
is selling his personal made in Japan Wolfgang special.
Very cool.
Sunburst with quilt top.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think Joe is in the Guitar Guru Network, but if not, there's a lot of free commerce that takes place there in that group. It's certainly somewhere where he's welcome to post it. And
yeah, I think he posted it on Facebook, so I think he is serious about selling it. And I just thought, I don't know if you personally want it, or if anyone within the sound of my voice is interested. Look at Joe Suma. If anyone's interested in buying a made in Japan beautiful sunburst Wolfgang Special quilt top with Floyd, I think Joe is selling his.
Great to know. What do you guys think of the earlier Japan guitars versus the current
I think they're
Mexican
beautiful.
specials now?
Well, all right.
Preference?
Here's the preference is I still like the Mexican made better because I like the arch top.
Yeah.
If they would have done an arch top made in Japan, I think that would have been the ultimate special, ultimate one, because it had the stainless frets, it had the USA made pickups. Now, honestly, I don't really care where they're made. It's all the same exact. It's the same exact pickup, no matter where it's from. But just to say that you have the USA made ones, it's just to say it, whatever. It's also got it also has the bird's eye maple fretboard and neck. It's just it's probably the most affordable and prettiest of all the Wolfgangs of anything that's not made in USA would be the made in Japan one. But I think that if they would have done an arch top on that would have been the end all be all of all Wolfgang specials.
Well, what was the reason? And again, we're new as dealers, even though we've been tuned into everything EVH has been doing for some time now. I don't recall what the reasoning was from switching from Japan to the Mexican facility. Is it just a matter of being financially beneficial because of the location near Corona, or what was
I really don't have.
Do we know?
I don't have an intelligent answer. I have an answer, but I don't know that it's absolutely the correct answer. So
Okay.
I'd rather not answer it.
Fair enough. No,
I have
no
an
problem.
answer. I have an answer that I think is the answer, but until I'm 100% sure, I really don't want to answer that question.
Smart. Respect for that. No problem.
Yeah. Johnny may know. I don't know. He may know better than I do.
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't. But
I'm just completely speculating that it might be economics.
I think it has to do with other guitar manufacturers in Japan. I think that's the only thing I'll say. I think they moved it out of respect for other guitar manufacturers in Japan. I think that's what it was.
Well, and having said that, just to kind of very briefly touch upon it, because I don't know that a lot of people are aware of this, but Fender has a manufacturing facility in Japan.
And it's a custom shop.
Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Big company. By chance, I don't know if you guys are familiar, if you've had an opportunity to listen to the new volume station on Sirius XM, which is all talk radio about the music world, the music industry. Really cool. It's basically hosted by former MTV VJs, and got some really talented people there. And recently, probably within the past month, they had the new, I don't know if his title is president or CEO of Fender on there, but it was very, very impressive to listen to. He's a player, first and foremost, has been for a long time. And it was a really intriguing, very, very interesting interview. So I would assume that you can go either online to Sirius XM Volume or in some way go back and capture that interview. But if you guys have an opportunity to do so, if you haven't heard it, I would highly recommend it.
Okay.
that'd be great.
It talks about the custom shop, and actually they do a whole segment about the custom shop, and it's just neat. Gives you a little insight from the top on how they view things. And
I think I saw an interview with him, possibly like a video interview.
Maybe.
I think.
Maybe.
Hang on one sec. Sorry, I'm unplugged.
Uh-oh.
My dog sat on my connector here. Hang on.
That's okay.
While we're waiting for that, Tone Talk
There
and
we
Bill Camporis both said the reason for the change in venue is the Fukushima disaster. There was a fire at the Japanese plant.
Really? Okay. Interesting. I
That's
wasn't aware of that.
I didn't either. I didn't know that either. But
Tone Talk knows what's up.
I would imagine Mark knows what he's talking about. So
I'm curious to know, and speaking of our friend Mark, I've been exploring left-handed guitars with a number of our vendors, and I'll tell you, I really have I have a bit of an emotional connection now to a lot of friends of mine and the struggle that they go through finding guitars. I'd never had a reason to look as a right-handed player, but I've become aware of the fact as a dealer now that there are not every company who's making great guitars or even making guitars is willing to or makes left-handed guitars. It's a really wonderful thing for guys who are left-handed that EVH does, and I'm curious to know, and Mark and Tone Talk may be the person to ask, but aren't there a couple shops throughout the country that cater to left-handed players?
Yes, there's one in particular in Texas called Southpaw Guitars.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds familiar.
I think Norm's Rare Guitars in California has a whole
Tarzana
section for left-handed guitars, but not very many stores carry that many left-handed guitars, let alone different models from different companies.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. We're doing with some clients of ours. We're doing some builds, some custom builds, which is really just having a guitar made. And talking about USA EVH Wolfgangs,
mm-hmm.
You know, you can call us or Guitar Guru Network, and you can have a Wolfgang made up for you left-handed if people weren't aware of it. But it really was kind of surprising to find out how few other how few of the other companies are willing to do lefties. So that's good that you put that out there for your audience, David.
Yeah.
Getting a lot of requests from lefties. Surprising.
Well, the
amount.
thing is, here's the thing. There's a I'm not going to say resurgence, but there's a lot of lefty players these days. Growing up, when I first started playing guitar, I mean, I do everything right-handed. But when I first picked up a guitar when I was 5 years old, I played it where I strummed with my left hand, not knowing any better. I didn't know any better until my teacher said, no, play this way because you're using both hands anyway. So it's probably better for you to play this way so that, when you get better at it, you'll have more choices down the road of what guitars you'd like to use, because there are none if you do it this way.
Interesting.
And whenever I teach a student, that's exactly what I do. But a lot of people choose to not say that to children anymore or new students. They choose to teach them, that way because, and it's making a lot more left-handed guitar players. Now, that's it's good, but now we have to get the companies to say, okay, well, there's a lot more lefty guitar players now. Let's put the money into the tooling to get left-handed guitars out there. Yeah. It also didn't help. It also didn't help that Jimi Hendrix, the real predominant left-handed player, played a right-handed guitar upside down.
Yeah.
He was given left-handed strats. He just chose to play them the other way.
The guy.
Andy, what was that? You dropped.
Right with him, it was crazy to practice with him, to watch the whole thing, because I was so fascinated with the whole process of inverting, and it's wild to watch.
Mm-hmm. That's
very
crazy.
Cool. I'll tell you, I say to people who I'm comfortable speaking with, who come to me and can't find left-handed gear, is I kind of direct them toward amps. And speaking of which, I think it was Tone Talk that had asked earlier about the amp question. I will tell you, hopefully everyone out there in the universe is saving a couple bucks, because there's a particular 50-watt Dragon Slayer that's on its way. And when this thing comes out, people are going to be tripping over each other to get to them. And it's coming in the next 6 to 8 months, is my understanding.
What company?
That would be, they have a logo back on the wall that I'm looking at right behind you.
Oh, it wouldn't happen to have some British style tubes in it, would it?
It's got some European glass in it, absolutely.
Nice.
And it's my understanding that it's going to have some extra bells and whistles that may not have been on its 6L6 companion.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, this should be fun.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to that myself.
Yeah. Do you guys remember when the 6L6, while we're speaking of amps, just and 50 watts, do you guys remember when the 6L6 EVH amp came out? The 50 watt, what an absolute frenzy that was.
Yeah, I do.
That was nuts. Nuts. Again, I was just a consumer of goods then and a player and not in the business. But I had to wait for a bit to get one, and it sure, to this day, I think for the price of those, you can't beat it.
You can't, and the fact that it's tiny, compared to its 100-watt, sister.
Yeah.
So it's tiny, it's lightweight, sounds amazing.
And if you match it with the cab and lock it in and tilt it back, that's
well, I've got that head with two 212 cabinets. And,
do you?
Yeah. And it sounds great. I don't have it in this room. I have it in my bedroom, actually, and I keep it at bedroom volume, which is easy.
And you can do it. Yeah.
Very easy to keep at bedroom volume. So
we have a guy in the group, in the Guitar Guru Network's social media group on Facebook that runs same thing, 50, and he gigs regularly with the two of the 212 EVH cabs that have the G12. Is it a G12H, that the Eddie signature speaker in it? And he just raves about it. I've never heard that set up live. I have one of the 212s, but I'd be curious to do that experiment one day and take a listen to it.
I think Bill Camporis is asking about a case for the 5150 guitar. Do they make one? Do we know?
The 5150 guitar that's coming out?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm totally speculating because I don't know, and I'll tell you this: we can find out. Andy and I can find out immediately. But I would think that the regular Stripe Series guitar case would fit.
I would think.
No.
I would think so too, but now Bill is saying no. The replicas. I don't understand what you. Ask the full question, Bill, because I don't understand what you're asking me, Bill. Please. He said 5150 case, Dave, and then he said no, the replicas, and I don't know what that means.
The only thing I could think of might be the touring replica, which is a Wolfgang
I don't know. We'll wait for him to say something. We'll wait for the full on question.
Johnny, what are your thoughts between the PV that you have behind you, which I have one of also here close to me, which I absolutely love to this day, and then the Fender EVH amps? Is that your favorite of all the Ed amps?
I actually like the Fender ones better because I think you can do way more with them with the clean channel, the different channels. This amp, I mean, I love this amp. I've had this. This is an original.
Yeah.
1992, whatever.
Signature, not block letter. Yeah.
Block letter. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've played this since 1995 or whatever. This amp, it's great, but it really has that one sound.
Yeah.
You always know if you play this, you can always do that. You can only do that one thing. With the new EVH 1553 amps, anybody can use them. You can do any kind of music with them, and that's what I really dig about them.
Yeah, it was fun. Andy and I had the great luxury of spending some time with James Brown, who designed that amp. Yeah, and of course, we're digging in, asking about Ed and Andy. Do you recall what he was saying about how they designed that amp, and some of the things that he was talking about? Andy was doing a wonderful job producing this segment, so he may not have gotten all of it, but do you recall much of that conversation?
Is that a question? I'm getting about every other word, and I don't know why that is. It's breaking up pretty badly on me, but
and we do hear you. I know you just messaged.
What's that?
I know that you just messaged and asked if we can hear you. Yes, we can.
Yeah.
So I'm coming through clear.
Yes.
Yeah.
The most interesting thing, I mean, James Brown was very, it was like, this is your life. And I didn't know that he was from Mississippi originally, where PV is being made. But the whole experience of talking about Ed and Valerie, obviously married at the time, going around to different amp companies to shop and see how it was and listen to the process. We've got the video edited and we'll probably put it out within the next day or so on our YouTube channel. And that James and his team would put these amps together and just go on sort of Eddie's word of saying, well, the first amp that they thought they nailed it, thought it was fantastic. He said it sounded like cardboard. And I remember James saying, well, I don't know what cardboard sounds like. What cardboard sounds like to Eddie, because that could sound different to anyone. But the way he dialed it in, actually fly out to where Eddie was with extra switches and knobs and transformers and stuff in his pocket on the fly.
On site
well,
at gigs.
Like to redesign it, including adding a completely other tube. I think he started with fifth or started with 3 and he added a fourth. I forget exactly, but he was adding an extra tube and that had to rebuild everything within that head.
Yeah.
To listen to the process from the man who was there was remarkable. But just the fact that Eddie and Valerie would hop on a plane, manufacturer, and say, okay, what do you got? And he would play any stock guitar.
Yep.
In the warehouse, in the showroom, or whatever, and plug it into any amp you like and say, well, I like that, like that. But it's not like he showed up with his guitar to play it. And they said that no matter what amp he played into and what guitar he was playing, you still, I mean, you knew it was Eddie Van Halen.
Oh yeah, that's the magic of his fingers. His fingers in his brain. While I have you guys, Tone Talk also asked a great question for the both of you. He says, "What brands do the Gurus sell, and what brands do the Gurus does the Guru Network want to bring aboard to sell?"
I'll tell you what, Andy, you want to split these up? Well, how about this? We're very fortunate in that right now. We've built up quite a roster of vendors, and we've got about 30 major vendors that we're working with. I'll give you a few because there's really just too many to list, and it is a wonderful question from Tone Talk, and I don't want to leave anyone out. So what I'm going to do is just tell you about the newest ones. We signed on this past Winter NAMM with Fender Specialty Brands, which is EVH, Charvel, Jackson, and Gretsch, and we're having tremendous success with them. We also recently got on board with the guys at Steve Fryette and Fryette, which back many moons ago was VHT. Steve's brilliant. Everyone on the planet who's playing big block amps, if you don't already own one, you should own a Power Station 2. And you can message Andy or I or call us and we can tell you all about that. Tone Talk and Dave Friedman, Mark and Dave spoke a little bit about it on their show a couple weeks ago and had high praise for it. We picked up Death by Audio pedals, which are a lot of fun and a great, I wouldn't say smaller and lesser known because the folks in this group of people are really tuned into gear. So you're probably familiar with them. And then Andy, what else? What am I? And we just I think last week we got on, and we're totally stoked to have gotten on board with DiMarzio. Thrilled, awesome. Yeah, loved. This is a fun story, and I don't know. Andy had mentioned being a big Kiss fan. I have just so many life stories about Kiss, including being 7 years old and going to see my first concert, July 7th, 1979, the Dynasty tour for my birthday. But Larry DiMarzio used to be in Kiss.
No kidding.
He was the guitar player before Ace.
Wow.
How do you like that? This is post Wicked Lester, Kiss. They were a band already. And he decided, and it's very unique. I was talking to someone that works with him, and has been with him for 30 years the other day. A lovely gal who is in North Carolina now, and she was, we're talking about the history of the company, and we were talking about that, and he had told Paul and Gene that he wanted to go ahead and move forward with his company of designing pickups. And it's very rare that you see, such success on both ends. He very easily could have been Pete Best and disappeared into the wind, but he's done all right for himself.
Yeah.
Andy, what you got?
Yeah. Let's see here. Dan White is asking about James Brown and said that James Brown was supposed to be starting his amp business. Now, this is a very interesting because he said tweaker stuff, and he uses words that he uses in his pedals. He wants a tight sound. He wants a fat sound. He wants a metal sound. He wants a crunch sound. And all of this work that went into these pedals was all done from feedback. He just put out questions to everybody before he even started making pedals. What do you guys want? Like when he worked with Joe Bonamassa and with Eddie Van Halen. Like, how do I solve your tone problem? What do you want? And he puts in a pedal, and he said in no uncertain terms that there are in the works. It's just a matter of time when he's going to release it. So you heard it here first that he told the Guru Network, the Guitar Guru Network, first, right in Keith's studio in Atlanta, that Amp Tweaker will be releasing amps. As far as when, I think that's the $1 million question, like we were asking about Mr. Power Station, is when his amps are going to come out. That was another question that was up there. But James Brown has amps in the works.
That's amazing. And just want to say hello to Rob at Tessie Switch, who has joined us as well. So how you doing, Rob?
Hey, Rob.
Awesome. Great to see you. Well, it's 9:34. We have 40 people watching, 39 people watching. We have 30 thumbs ups, and 3 people that like Crystal Pepsi.
Come on. Hey, Tessie Switch.
Awesome stuff.
And Citizen K, my garage. Come on over and jam anytime, man. Or woman, man or girl.
Good stuff.
I'll tell you guys a fun story real quick, and I'm really proud of Andy, who's in this fashion and many others. He's a phenomenal musician, phenomenal drummer, and he was here in Atlanta about 6 weeks ago, and we were invited to a gig with some mutual friends that were playing a benefit. And anyhow, I no secret to anybody, I lost the ability to play guitar standing up about 20 years ago. And so I can't, it's just not something I can do. I'll go and sit and watch and enjoy and hang out with friends, but I can't get up on stage and jam like that anymore. So they called out a tune during a break and asked Andy if he wanted to come and sit in. And he said yes, I think, obviously, before even knowing what they were going to play. And they asked him if he knew a song by Lit from the 90s. Andy, what was the name of that? Do you recall? What was the big hit, guys, from Lit in the 90s?
The video where they're in the bowling alley?
That's it. Real poppy, bouncy, fun song with some heavy guitars.
My are you guys getting that?
Huh?
My own worst enemy.
There you go. My own worst enemy. That's it. So Andy goes into the men's room on his iPhone, listens to it once, maybe 1.5 times. That's all he had time for. Came out, and in front of a couple hundred people, probably a few hundred people, absolutely just threw down like a champ.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun.
Wow.
I took a little video of it, and I think I may have shot it live, but that was
Awesome.
cool. Yeah.
Very awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
and you know what? He was ready for Hot for Teacher.
No kidding.
Yeah, I mean, once they hummed it and I heard it, what I had time to basically listen to on a quick loop, I listened to the chorus and the verse, and I remembered enough of the song. And Mark said he'd cue me in, and weird break after one of the lyrics, and he said, and Mark and I had never played before, and he goes, "Come on, this is a swing thing. This is like your thing. You can do this." And I'm like, "Right, sure, okay, yeah."
Mm-hmm.
And but it was a lot of fun. But it was a pretty easy song. It wasn't too terribly complicated. And luckily, my iPhone was working better than it is tonight, and I could actually hear the YouTube in the bathroom. I did get a couple weird looks as I had it right up to my ear. That was an absolute blast. I love doing that stuff, man. There's nothing like playing live, and there's nothing like just sitting in like that.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know how that is. Believe me, it's a lot of fun to be able to do that. Just jump on stage and play with, oh yeah, just join in on this song. But
Yeah.
Keith, I do know where you're coming from, because I have to sit to play nowadays too. I can't stand up anymore. I have some sort of equilibrium thing, but I have to sit and play.
Yeah, and you know what? It's not the end of the world, especially
It's not.
this. As long as you get to play, that's what it's all about. I had a little stint there where I couldn't at all, and sit, stand, lay down, whatever. Long as you get to bang on the instrument for a little bit and make some noise.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Hey, yeah, sorry, I crashed. It's a YouTube thing.
We missed
You're
you.
back though.
I'm
John,
back. Yeah, I know how to jump back in really quickly. Yeah. My Own Worst Enemy was the song. Did you guys see that?
Yes.
There you go.
Okay, good.
There you go.
Good.
That's it.
Good. Yeah, actually, I saw Lit. I saw them in Berkeley back in 2000, 99, 2000, I think.
I saw them in Virginia while in the early '90s. I don't recall who they opened up for. Maybe at Marjorie Merriweather Post in Maryland. I was living in D.C. area, but yeah, they're a fun band. A couple good songs.
Mm-hmm.
I think recently they were trying to get on a reunion tour with Mark McGrath's band, and a lot of the '90s bands were trying to do like a like what the '80s bands were doing 10 years ago when they all kind of got together and would try to fill a stadium, and unfortunately it just didn't work out. But there's some great music made then.
Yeah.
A little short on the guitar solos, but such is life. A little light on the guitar solos, I should say.
Well, Zeke said there should be a T-shirt called "Sorry I Crashed." It's a YouTube thing.
I'm not joking either. I'm not joking. It's YouTube. I don't know why that happened, but it didn't just happen to me. I've seen it happen to other people on other live shows like this. So
See, now I heard everything you said, the complete sentence, the complete thought. So it's going in and out.
Mine?
I'm picking up most of it, and the rest of it I just
Can
make up.
you guys can hear me though, right?
That's the way to do it. Well, what?
Huh?
What?
Didn't know we'd be doing improv.
Johnny, what was that?
Yeah.
What?
No, it is fantastic. The comments on my laptop, which is to the
right
of me.
Yeah.
So that's what, and I'm watching that on delay. So every time I cough, I get to see myself cough on camera about 30 seconds after I've coughed. It's amazing.
Dave, you had mentioned earlier at the beginning of the show, you were talking about wanting to acquire a replacement for your Stealth or another Stealth.
Mm-hmm.
And I have, again, with the Wolfgang signature models coming out, we've had so many people, we've had guys on waiting lists and people inquiring about them. And there's obviously just the Stealth Black and the White. But for anyone who may not know, and I know you guys are aware of this, but the Stealth finish will always sound different.
Yes, it does.
Sounding guitar.
It's a darker sounding. Yep, it's a darker sounding thing because it's not, it's paint, of course, but it's a different type of thing. It just really colors the sound of that wood.
Yeah, and at that point, I think that was probably, I don't know for sure, but I can put two and two together and assume that's why Ed started using ebony boards. But that combination is just lethal for anyone who, again, pick up a Stealth Special, what have you. It's just a really great little different take on your typical Wolfgang guitar.
Mm-hmm. And now you just brought up something that I wonder if it's the same amount of Stealth covering on the Special as there is on the American, or if it's less.
Great question. I don't know. Great question. I'd really like to know that myself. We can find out.
Mm-hmm. Because I think it's the same stuff. I think just like on any other line, is there like Maple Tops?
Right.
Is there is it a thinner Laminate.
I find it looks and feels like it, but again, I've never.
It could be. I mean, it could be a totally different finish as well.
Yeah,
It might not be the same thing altogether. It might just look the same.
Great question. If anyone knows the answer to that, I'd like to know myself. I want to see them come out with the USA, the red stealth that Eddie toured with a few years ago.
We all do.
Dying
I want to see
for it.
colors. I want to see like a green, and not necessarily stealth. I want to see translucent colors like the Peavey. Like the Peavey guitars, translucent with flame tops and quilt tops.
As do I. I would
Purple,
love to see them go back to quilt
red,
tops in different colors.
I would love to see that.
We had.
Hey, there's a
Deseret.
Andy, what's on your mind?
No, there's a lot of Def Leppard and Phil Collins talk on Cat on the side here that's been going on for a while. I think Cat Dumpling's point is valid that Phil Collins might be a better looking human being than he is guitar player for some ladies, but that's their opinion.
Okay,
but
good
what
to know.
I'm talking about, look, he's got a fantastic signature guitar that we just put up on Guitar Guru Network. So any Phil Collins fans and Def Leppard fans should look at that, because Keith spied that at NAMM from across the room and picked it out. And it's got that mist sort of frost blue. It's a really good looking guitar. While we're talking about guitars and
Oh wait, are we talking about the Jackson PC1?
Yeah, and
right.
the PC ones have changed for anyone. Dave, you probably know. If you want to
I
share.
don't know, but I'm now I need to ask another question.
Sure.
Is he now back with Ibanez and not with Jackson anymore, because he is now using an Ibanez Destroyer?
That's right. I don't know the ins and outs of that, but he is very much with Jackson. I spoke to them today with regards to the release of the PC1, and again, there are people just climbing over each other, waiting to get a hold of them.
those
PC
Ibanez Explorers are badass. Like Adrian Smith played on the Number of the Beast tour.
Yeah. He played a
There you
red
go.
one, right? Or was it a Sunburst?
I think it was it may have been a Sunburst.
I think it was a Sunburst, yeah, but I thought I also saw him play a red one.
He played
with
a red
gold heart.
because Keith, you know who had a red? I'm getting all worked up here.
Adrian Smith will do that to you.
Yeah, he will. He's a good-looking man himself, like Phil Collins there, Cat Dumpling. But Adrian Smith played a red one, and it was almost like a metallic red. It was deep like a blood red, and Andy Rogopoulos had a Flying V version of Ibanez, because I played with him for a hot minute in high school. That's the Flying V version of Adrian Smith's Explorer.
Oh yeah,
all ripped off of Gibson.
DiMarzio Super Ds, those were
Yeah.
cool, but I mean, Phil's
guitar.
is very much with Jackson. His main guitars are the PC ones, and what they've done in 2017 is they've introduced some different finishes, which are incredibly cool. They're matte finishes. So, for instance, the one of the ones that we're getting a ton of inquiries about, and the one that really caught my eye at NAMM was the matte frost blue that Andy mentions. Really neat color. Phil's played it on stage for a couple years now before it was ever available. But what they've done is they've also done matte hardware. So like the gold hardware is not glossy. It doesn't have, it is a matte satin finish. Really cool. And then they've totally changed the neck profile on the guitar.
Right.
And it's now more of a slim taper 60s style neck, as opposed to what was a very round, very kind of chunky 50s neck.
Yes. So, Cat Dumpling, I'm going to blow your mind. I know that Jackson made the Extroyer from Jackson for Phil Collins, but here is a photo of Phil last week with his Ibanez.
Whoa, look at
with
that.
a Floyd Rose on it. It's Phil Collins,
That's him.
and that is a brand new
3
Ibanez.
pickups.
Ibanez with a Floyd Rose on it. His old one had a Kaler on it. So that is a brand new guitar.
Interesting.
Now this topic too, and I think that one John Mayer has been seen playing guitars that he is maybe not signed to. And
He is. He's signed to him, yes.
Really?
You're right. He's using a Paul Reed Smith, and it's a Fender Strat body with a Paul Reed. It's a Paul Reed Smith that they're making for him. I've seen a couple of photos of the guitar. It looks just like a Fender guitar with a Paul Reed Smith headstock on it.
Dave, you know what?
Really?
You know which one Andy's referring to, Dave? I think
No.
we're talking about two different guitars. He was on a nighttime one of the
I know what
evening
you're talking
shows
about too. Yeah,
playing a Pink Jackson.
Pink Jackson. Yes, he was playing a Pink Jackson.
Pink Jackson. And he's been seen playing through a Milkman recently.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we have both of them.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Playing Milkman amps, which are dynamite. Speaking of the Northern California area.
Right now, he's signed on with Paul Reed Smith. He's using a new Paul Reed Smith amp.
That's right.
It's called the what's it called? I can't remember what it's called. But what was that?
Does it start with an A?
I don't know. I don't remember. Oh, it's called the J mod. It's called the J mod.
Because
It's a J mod. It's the Paul Reed Smith J mod amp.
Okay.
And I think I may have a photo of him playing this guitar. Give me one moment.
Yeah, well, I can fill in a little space here. There's two guys I know who are in the Guitar Guru Network. One's Wino from the Obsessed, famous doom band out of DC. Todd Ingram, who's in King Giant and Serpents of Secrecy, Baltimore, DC kind of bands, and they're playing. It's something with an
Archon.
bass sounding with an A.
It's the Archon. It's that was their PRS's. That was their answer when the 50-watt EVH head came out. Paul came out with that.
Yep.
So I think it's a 6L6 amp. Yeah.
He does, and he's got more of them than me. It's proof positive right there.
I get lucky every once and again.
All right, so here's a photo of gee, I just lost it. Damn it.
Hey,
Why
Come on,
this
Dave.
happened? Give me 1 second, guys.
What's the audience like in amps?
Here it is. Let's hope I don't lose this. Here's the John Mayer and his new Paul Reed Smith Stratocaster.
That's cool. Look at the headstock. That looks nice. That's neat. Those block inlays?
It looks like they might be birds.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there you go. It's hard to see from the.
And the headstock is left-handed.
I saw John Mayer, I think, playing that model. The Deaden Company.
Wow.
Maybe.
I'm pretty sure.
It says John Mayer has been spotted with a suspiciously Strat-like electric sporting a PRS headstock and bird inlays, leading to the speculation that the guitar star could be working on a new signature model.
Or
You guys.
I will offer this. From when I was recording with Chris Haskett from the Rollins Band, to rewind a little bit, when they did the Led Zeppelin tribute album, Rollins Band was on that.
Inconium?
Yep, and the song they did was down, 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 down.
Oh, Three Sticks?
Yeah. Whoa, baby! And they did a great version. It was Henry growling and the whole thing. Anyway, so all the guitar players from Jimmy Page, a Gibson headstock from one of his guitars.
Oh, cool.
That's crazy.
And Chris Haskett was a PRS artist at the time, and I think still is, or still friendly with him. And he took that guitar to Paul and said, "Can you put on my white classic PRS that I'm playing? Can you put this Gibson neck?" And I don't think it's any great secret that Paul isn't a big fan of Gibsons. But he put that neck on that PRS, and I played that guitar.
Oh, how cool is that?
That's awesome. You
And I'll
guys,
tell you,
wow.
you guys remember John Mayer playing Panama on
there are
Frankenstein?
two instruments
Yes, I do.
that had can't hear it.
Andy, after you, go ahead. We got a little delay on you.
There's two instruments that I've played in my life that have had that kind of history and electricity. Number one was that PRS with a Gibson head, and I just noodled around on it in the studio, but you could just feel aura and heat and just energy coming off of that neck. It was remarkable. And I got to way back in the 90s when you could do Sun Studio tours in Memphis and actually sit behind the drum set that was the studio drum set. It was a beat to crap old, and I think it was Blue Sparkle. I'd have to think. Pretty much it was Blue Sparkle or Silver Sparkle. I've owned both in my day, so I'm a little confused. But a 4-piece drum set, and you sat back and you played. And I know that tons of bands, if any band that comes through Memphis goes through Sun Studio and buys out some time there. B.B. King, U2, Guns N' Roses, on and on and on and on and on, because they've got the same equipment there. And I've since met the granddaughter of the owners of that studio. It's not a functioning studio anymore, but I mean, you guys know it. We all know it. There's energy that comes off instruments that have been played by greats.
Sure.
Mhm.
Andy, this band that named themselves after YouTube, they legally, what are the ramifications of that?
As far as putting the Gibson head on the PRS?
No, you mentioned a band that's calling themselves YouTube, and I'm curious. I'd be surprised that anyone could get away with that without some kind of legal ramification from
Maybe
higher
it's
ups at Google.
Maybe it's spelled differently.
Yeah, you would think it would have to be.
Like Helmet. Helmet was very, very smart. That Crow soundtrack that came out in the 90s that everyone was.
Great soundtrack.
It's a great soundtrack. Well, they were told that on that album, they had to play a song that wasn't on any other album to raise the value of the soundtrack and sell more copies. So what Helmet did, single that was coming off of Betty, their follow-up to Meantime, and they changed a couple verses and they spelled it differently. It's called Milk Toast, but Milk Toast is spelled differently on the Betty album than it is on the Crow soundtrack. So they get all the royalties as opposed to all the other bands that couldn't come up with a new song and just did cover tunes. Like The Cure did a cover tune, Rollins Band did a cover tune, and Helmet is getting paid big time on that soundtrack where other guys are having to share the royalties because of licensing issues.
No kidding.
Anyone remember that the Pilots did an original on that? Anyone, and it became a huge hit. Anyone remember what that was? Stunt Pilots?
It was it was a big hit for him on the Unplugged album.
Big Empty.
Too much walking in these shoes. I got a cold. I can't sing it.
There you go. Big Empty, which became a huge hit for them. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I bet Johnny Beane could sing that song well.
Real quick, I just want to say goodnight to Mark from Tone Talk. He's splitting, so take care.
Mark, you're the best, brother.
Good night, Mark. And in case I crash again, good night, everybody.
Yes,
You never know.
we're approaching the 2 hour mark.
It is YouTube, you know,
And
the
Time
band.
flies.
And look, I'm having the best time watching these comics. Cat Dumpling and I could hang out. Cat Dumpling and Desiree.
There you go.
Helmet's
Making
fantastic.
friends.
I just saw Keith. You know this. I was talking to you the night I went down to the Black Cat to see Helmet. They're still just as good as they ever were, man. They're tight. It's just I've always had a good time. I've played with them before at shows, and just seeing them a million times. They're a fantastic band.
well, I don't know about you, but I like Dark Helmet. It's a Spaceballs reference.
I'm not touching that. I barely remember
Baseball?
Spaceballs.
Spaceballs. You know, it's
Spaceballs, Mel Brooks.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the movie, yeah.
I remember the poster, Dave. That's about all I remember. I saw the movie.
That's one of my
Young
favorite
Frank
movies in the world. In fact, I like Spaceballs better than Star Wars. I don't know.
Oh,
Here
Uh,
come the
Come on.
but
comments.
I'm a spoof kind of guy, so I like the
I'm gonna
spoof.
start eating chips.
Go ahead. You can eat the chips if you want. Eat all the chips you like. I'm about to get some Raisin Bran.
Johnny, have you had an opportunity to run one of the EVH heads through that PV412 cab out of curiosity?
no.
Love to know what that would sound like. I've done the reverse, and I do it often.
Actually, not that particular one. No.
But that sucker's well broken in.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's possible. I've actually used an EVH head with a. I know I have with not the PV, but the 6505.
Okay.
The new versions. I know I've
speakers like. What was loaded into those? I don't even recall.
I don't remember. It was a while back.
Yeah.
Back. I mean, it sounded good. Good, but a lot of the stuff, particularly you remember this, that amp and cabinet, they were made for each other,
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
And the new stuff is great stuff. I remember, since we're talking about this real quick, I remember Edward talking about how this amp and the Ernie Ball Music Man guitar were kind of built for each other. That guitar and that amp.
There's a magazine that I have the back issue of. I'm sure everyone saw. It's called Guitar Shop. Well, everyone was.
I had that.
It was 94 tan cover. Yeah.
Yep.
When he talks about they were both new at the time, and it was not. The proof is always in the pudding with that. He just puts out great products. If his name's on it, you're just going to get value and you're going to get something great, and that's just the fact of the matter. And people seem to think maybe at the time it was some kind of marketing thing with cross-pollination between PV and Music Man. It wasn't. They just designed that amp, that guitar to kind of jive together, and they did. And
what James Brown said specifically about that was Keith asked him, I'm sure of it. He said, why was Ed building this amp? What was the purpose? What was the end game? And it wasn't so much. I mean, of course, he wanted to sell some amps and cash, and good for him as well. He should. But a big thing was he wanted to go, and we've all been through this, touring and playing out and being able to walk into any store and buy his amp if he needed it for any reason. It was like that was. He didn't want to knock off. He didn't want something with just his name on it. He wanted to walk in, plug in, and have it sound exactly right every time. And
get his tone. Absolutely.
What James Brown did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Man, I need a Harley. I gotta tell you. Every time I see.
I used to have a Harley.
What'd you ride?
A 2002 Softail.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, until I crashed it into a Mercedes.
Oof. Who won that one? I dare ask.
I was going about 5 miles an hour, and the owner of the Mercedes was such a nice guy, super, super nice guy, because all he cared about was that I was okay, and he fixed his own car.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. You hit a Mercedes on a motorcycle?
Yeah. Why do you think I look like this?
I can't hear the answer.
David's got a great self-deprecating sense of humor.
No,
that's why his face
I was making a right-hand turn.
5 miles an hour?
Yeah, I was going 5 miles an hour, making a right-hand turn onto my block, and I got fixated on this guy's wheels and didn't turn my head into the turn and went right into his side. Felt like such an idiot.
Tipped over?
Well, yeah. What do you think? The bike fell right on top of me. What do you think? And I got up and picked it up myself. What
does one of those things weigh?
I don't know, over 1,000 pounds.
Jeez.
They're not light.
No.
Ow.
That's double superhuman strength. Who knew?
When when the adrenaline is pumping, yeah, you can pick up a bike.
Yeah, I bet. Sounds like it.
Well, sometimes you just have to. You're so damn the street, you look like a jackass, and you got to pick it up.
And I did. I looked just like a jackass. I really did. I had the whole donkey head and everything.
Yeah, sadly, I'll be there again. It's just inevitable.
Well, there's only two types of people on motorcycles: those who have fallen and those who are going to fall.
Yep.
So, and I've fallen. I'm not going to fall again.
We all take our lumps. Yeah, I'm very careful now. I'm more careful, especially with Heather on the back. I don't mess around with a passenger at all. Take it very easy. You don't look cool wrapped around a tree. You look cool cruising down.
You ain't kidding.
I try not to fall just playing guitar.
Well,
So
there
with
you
the guitar in
And
my lap,
I
thought
have
I'd pick it
fallen just
over.
playing guitar. I've fallen with a Les Paul in my hand.
Oof.
in a
Almost as heavy as the motorcycle, I'll bet.
in a
No,
spinal
not my Les Paul. It's only 8 pounds.
I actually fell off the back of a stage when in my college band playing at a Comfort Inn in Timonium, Maryland, north of Baltimore. And I remember we were playing Pinball Wizard, and I was bouncing around so much on this makeshift stage that my drum tone had bounced back, and all of a sudden it went out from under me. And I was kind of had to stand up, kind of a Slim Jim Phantom kind of thing. The bass drum dropped out until someone came over and put the stool underneath my butt so I could sit back down and keep going.
I love the Stray Cats reference. I didn't know you could even get a gig at the Comfort Inn.
Wow.
Who knew?
I just love the name of the place. I'm all about comfort.
Well, David, have you ever been to one?
Nope.
Yeah, I know some people have left a Comfort Inn scratching.
Oh wait, is that like you go for an hour at a time? Is that one of
No, well, you maybe. I don't want to say anything disparaging to the franchise over the airwaves here, but it's no Four Seasons.
Mm-hmm.
This was a legitimate hostile environment in hospitable environment, and it was a college gig, and it was a college dated party thing, and it's all they could afford. So like Keith says, it wasn't the Four Seasons, and but we weren't interested in sleeping much back in those days anyway. So
I will read between the lines.
There you go.
What's the matter, Brand? You gotta go out. You guys are gonna have to excuse me. I have to let my dog out.
Sure.
Right back.
Yeah. Well, actually, it's been 2 hours exactly.
Johnny, you guys have been amazing. We'll wait till Dave gets back and say an official thank you. But anyone who took the time to tune in and watch any of us, it's an honor and a privilege to be on the show. I'm glad we could finally make this happen.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for being here.
Of course.
And your stories and huh? Yeah.
I think Andy's digging into the chat.
Oh, the chat room. Oh yeah, we do these things 3 days, well, officially 3 days a week, but sometimes every day. And yeah, we have a lot of regulars that come back and they have a great time in the chat room talking to us, talking to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Dave, we're just saying as you stepped out for a second that we're just a great privilege and honor to have you guys invite us to your show. And it's been
you kidding? It's
a while in the works now, as you mentioned, and it's been a blast.
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, and we'll do it again. We'd like to have you guys on as regulars. We'd love to have you guys on.
Love it. We'd love it.
Maybe next time I actually hear the show, I'm gonna go get a new phone tomorrow.
That's so funny. So just so you guys know, my roommate Dennis, he's a huge Gretsch guy. He's got 7 of those the select, what do they call vintage selects? The vintage select versions of those guitars.
We got.
He's actually restringing his 53 Duo Jet now.
We just got in a real nice batch of Gretsch guitars. We got in the new Billy Duffy signature.
Mm-hmm.
For the Cult fans out there, and even if you're not a Cult fan, just an amazing version of the White Falcon that they did for Billy.
Mm-hmm.
Got in a silver sparkle jet.
I think I saw a photo of that on your site.
Yeah, we had that one listed. I don't even know if I've posted pictures of this one yet, but we got in a don't recall the name off the top of my head, a red. It's a very similar guitar to the Malcolm Young guitar. It has both pickups in place and a beautiful red finish, solid body. And we've got some
double cutaway.
Yeah, got into Chet Atkins recently. We've been real pleased with the Gretsch product, and big demand out there from the customers. Gretsch has really come back with a vengeance.
And they're beautiful.
Yeah, they're made really well. The Japanese made guitars are just second to none. They're absolutely amazing.
Case.
Andy, what's that?
They do come with a case. Yes.
Yeah, Yes. Yeah. They, someone made the analogy to me. It may have been one of the people from Gretsch, but that they're like a Lexus. And they really are. The fit and finish and the polish, everything about them, just really, really lovely. We've been very, very pleased with them.
Yeah, they're very cool. Very cool stuff.
Mhm.
But again, guys, thank you so much. Andy and Keith, you both absolutely were wonderful and great hanging with you guys, and everyone in the chat. Thanks for hanging in and asking all the great questions and being part of it, as you always are. It's always a lot of fun.
Well, thank you again, and anyone who's in the audience who's not a member of our social media community, please feel free. Everyone's welcome. We'd love to have you. Message any one of the four of us, and we'll get you in there. And we look forward.
Right in the chat with your contact names and everything, man. Requests coming in.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
Look forward to doing it again.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah.
So listen, we're going to say goodnight, but don't go anywhere. Don't hang up.
You got it.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And you guys, what are your links, real quick? What you have Facebook?
Facebook, Instagram. Check us out. Well, again, the Facebook group is private, but if you want to get into the private group, just reach out to one of us. We'll get you in there. You can check us out on Instagram. And then really the most comprehensive way to see our inventory is actually our Reverb store. Reverb, I'm sure everyone's realized, has become the Amazon of the music industry, and we've got just a massive store there. Just type the Guitar Guru Network into search, and it'll come up. If you want links, we'll, again, message Andy or I, or email us, and we'll get them out to you. And we're here for you guys.
That's great.
Awesome.
And thanks to everyone in the chat again. Thanks for all the nice words and everything. It's very nice.
Yes, Charlie.
Yes, you're late, but you know what? You can go right to the beginning, and it was a good show. I'm gonna
Liquid Charlie?
No, another friend of ours, Charlie S.
Different Charlie S.
Different Charlie. Although Liquid does jump in from time to time.
He does, yeah.
But because of the time difference.
Yeah.
Yes, we're good. Citizen Kane, everybody. Thanks for jumping in. Tessie Switch, Bozique, Jaden James, Cat Dumpling, John, everybody. And we'll see you guys Friday.
Yes,
right?
we will.
Friday
night.
So, all right, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Johnny Beane, JohnnyBeane.com. Snapchat, Johnny Beane.
And all those little Johnny Beans.
Are you guys on Snapchat?
We're not. We're not. To be quite honest with you, I had explored it momentarily, and really just found that we could only be in so many places at the same time, and so we've focused on Instagram and Facebook, and yeah. It's not to say we won't be back, but for the time being, just trying to be as focused as we can be.
YouTube interviews, ton of rig tours.
Oh, so YouTube.
Yeah, I hadn't even mentioned our YouTube channel, and Johnny, and forgive me, there's some really great content on there, and a ton more coming. We've got some incredible rig tours and live demos, interviews, all that stuff. So again, the Guitar Guru Network on YouTube, and if anyone needs a little help getting there, just let us know. We'll help guide you.
Yeah, and all those links will be right down below. So if you're watching this in the future, it's already there.
Thanks, Johnny.
All right.
Look out below.
You're welcome.
Thanks,
All right.
Dave. You guys are the best.
All right. Don't hang up. Everybody, we'll see you guys. See you guys Friday. JohnnyBeane, JohnnyBeane.com. Good night.
See ya.
Peace.